Welcome to New York, Manhattan, where the stakes couldn't be any higher. The mission is active, and the demotion prevention protocol has officially kicked in. Terror grips the party as they freeze in the face of an unseen, overwhelming threat. Their eyes widen in pure, unadulterated shock. The objective is clear. Hold the line at all costs. The summoning ritual begins, and the terrifying monster of the end, Behemoth, is unleashed. An earth-shattering blast erupts as raw, overwhelming power tears through the environment. The sheer force of the impact leaves nothing but destruction in its wake. Sheer terror grips them as a blood-curdling scream shatters the silence. The hunters realize too late that they're in way over their heads. The entity has finally arrived. It's the legendary Behemoth, and it's looking for blood. The mission is simple. Defeat the beast or watch the world crumble to dust. An ancient, nightmare-fueled monstrosity erupts from the darkness with a blood-curdling shriek. Pure terror incarnate is closing in on its prey. Desperate orders are shouted as the team is told to hold their formation, or else. If they fail now, it's curtains for the entire planet. The BattleNet Space League started as a friendly competition between nations, but everything shifted in 2022 when the true horrors of space were revealed. Humanity has been getting absolutely crushed in this intergalactic survival of the fittest. We've reached the year 2023, and the outlook is grim. With only 10 nations left on Earth, the planet is teetering on the edge of total collapse. Talk about a bad streak, the stats are looking absolutely abysmal. A monstrous titan of pure malice erupts into existence, leaving our hero frozen in sheer terror. The battlefield trembles as an overwhelming wave of dark energy tears through reality. A terrifying aura erupts, tearing through the very atmosphere. The sheer pressure of this power is enough to shatter reality itself. Pure terror consumes the group as a devastating force tears through them. They scream in absolute agony as they are swallowed by the blinding purple light. With a sudden, explosive burst of speed, he launches himself into the fray. The air itself shatters as he propels forward with unstoppable force. Defying gravity, our hero hangs in the air while a massive, crackling surge of dark energy erupts right beneath him. The battlefield is set for a devastating clash. The world freezes as a chilling realization hits him square in the chest. Pure, unadulterated shock grips his soul. A cataclysmic surge of purple energy tears through the sky. The battlefield trembles as an unstoppable power is unleashed. Pure, chaotic power erupts as he unleashes a devastating strike. There's no turning back now. The battlefield is about to be painted in purple ruin. With a single, devastating strike, he obliterates the battlefield. The earth shatters under the sheer weight of his overwhelming power. A massive shockwave tears through the air. The party braces for impact as they're slammed by the overwhelming force. The air grows thick with tension as he stares down the impossible. A cold sweat breaks. Is this the end of the line? Disbelief consumes the onlookers. They can't fathom what they are seeing. He actually took down the Behemoth all by himself. Mission accomplished for the USA. The crowd murmurs in awe. Is this the true, terrifying power of the martial saint? Behold Song Jihan, the 7th-ranked player in the world and an affiliate of the American First Guild. The guild master gloats, claiming this victory for America and demanding total submission from his subordinates. Someone get this guy a mirror, his ego is showing. A sinister smirk spreads across his face as he prepares to unleash chaos. The ultimate predator has arrived, and he's ready for the kill. Standing at the top of the food chain, World Rank 1, Baron Williams, enters the scene. Panic ensues as Jihan screams for the priestess to keep her head in the game. Baron orders them to leave her, confident she can handle the lingering energy of the beast on her own. Talk about a supportive boss, not. The sheer power radiating from the corpse is absolutely suffocating. Just the leftover energy is enough to make top-tier players choke and pass out. The beast must have been a literal god of destruction when it was alive. They wonder how Jihan is managing to stand so close to the epicenter without crumbling. Sophia, the 3rd-ranked player, stares in horror at the state of Jihan's mangled left arm. His regeneration skill is struggling to keep up with the catastrophic damage. They urge him to hang in there, but he's clearly pushed past his limits. Barely escaping the carnage, he exhales a breath of relief amidst the fading energy. The battle may be over, but his eyes reveal a storm is still brewing. His eyes snap wide open as a sudden, blinding realization hits him. Everything changes in an instant. Master Baron spots something glimmering in the wreckage. The boss's rare reward has finally appeared. He ruthlessly orders the others to back off, claiming the loot for himself. With greed in his eyes, he prepares to snatch the reward away. The team is fuming. How can he act so entitled after doing absolutely nothing to help kill the monster? The mysterious figure descends, radiating raw power as a blinding pillar of light erupts from the ancient chest. The group stands frozen in awe as the atmosphere shifts into pure chaos. Baron arrogantly announces that he will choose exactly who gets to share in the rewards. The sycophants cheer in unison, desperate for his approval. He dismisses everyone except the priestess, cutting Jihan out of the deal entirely. The team tries to protest, pointing out that Jihan did all the heavy lifting. They demand to know why the hero of the battle is being treated like trash. Baron drops the truth bomb. Jihan isn't one of them, because he's not American. He spits on Jihan's status, calling him a mere foreigner despite his naturalization. He basically treats him like a disposable guard dog. Jihan just sighs. He's used to this kind of treatment by now. He brushes it off, knowing the world is literally ending, but he's still being treated like a second-class citizen. Jihan accepts his reality. He's just a refugee who lost everything, including his home. He reflects on his SSS rank skill, the nameless divine arts, a power that requires finding a true name to reach its full potential. Despite the discrimination, he managed to claw his way up to the 7th rank in the world. Being a top player didn't save him from the constant harassment and systemic prejudice of the American First Guild. But the external hate was nothing compared to the internal struggle. Steel-cold resolve flashes in his eyes. The crushing, silent guilt of being the only survivor haunts him every single day. The silence says it all as he braces for the storm ahead. A chilling calm descends before the inevitable carnage begins. He decides to stop fighting the politics and focus on healing his arm. He needs to be ready for the next mission. A chilling gaze pierces through the chaos. He stares down his opposition with an intensity that promises absolute destruction. The mission parameters are officially categorized as defense. To clear the stage, at least half of the players need to survive the coming onslaught. America manages to squeeze out a success. China pulls through with a success as well. Russia, however, falls to failure. Japan and the others are wiped out. Only 2 nations survived. This is a catastrophe of epic proportions. Humanity has failed the demotion prevention check. Other players are also facing the consequences of losing their status. Under the ominous glow of a blood-red moon, a terrifying horde emerges from the shadows. The nightmare has just begun. They are forced into a final, high-stakes battle against the orc army. The mere mention of orcs sends a shiver down their spines. They know they stand no chance without Jihan's combat prowess, but Baron shuts the idea down immediately. The representative players are summoned. The final stand begins now. With a blinding flash, they tear through the battlefield in a blur of pure speed. Their enemy doesn't even stand a chance before the strike lands. The elite squad stands ready, radiating an aura of lethal intent. Their cold, calculated gazes lock onto the target. There's no turning back now. A piercing, icy gaze locks onto the target with lethal intent. There's no escaping the chilling pressure of those glowing eyes. The orc leader returns with a mocking greeting. He calls them pathetic, disgusting pigs, and the insult hits hard. They realize they are outnumbered, with only 4 humans and 1 Chinese ranker to hold the line. They try to act tough, claiming they don't need Jihan to win this. Someone's feeling brave, or perhaps just incredibly suicidal. He calls the orcs out, inviting them to their own funeral. A terrifying surge of red energy erupts, signaling a cataclysmic power awakening. The battlefield trembles as he unleashes a force that defies all logic. He screams his title to the heavens, claiming to be the savior of humanity. A roar of pure fury echoes across the plains. A ferocious beast lunges with lethal intent, leaving the stunned party frozen in pure terror. The battle has turned deadly in a heartbeat. The spectators watch in horror as the tide of battle turns against their champions. Battered and missing an arm, he stands amidst the wreckage with a chilling, hollow gaze. The system interface flickers to life, marking the start of his desperate final stand. Ice-cold eyes lock onto the target with lethal intent. There is nowhere left to hide. A sudden, lethal strike slams into the ground with overwhelming force. The impact sends shockwaves rippling across the dark, desolate void. The notification hits. Another human player has fallen. Sheer terror grips the crowd as a blood-curdling scream erupts. Panic shatters the room, leaving everyone frozen in absolute horror. Another player bites the dust. And another, the human forces are being systematically erased. They beg for it to stop, but the game has no mercy. The orcs mock them, calling them weak and unworthy of survival. They desperately hope for a miracle, but hope is running thin. The game ends in total defeat. Humanity is being demoted to the absolute bottom. There is nowhere lower to go. They've hit rock bottom. Humanity has been officially classified as worthless. The blood drains from her face as realization hits like a freight train. She's frozen in absolute, heart-stopping terror. The system announces the mass expulsion from the Space League. A sinister void ruptures the ground, crackling with volatile dark energy. Something terrifying is about to emerge. The deletion process has officially commenced. A terrifying surge of dark energy erupts, instantly trapping everyone in its suffocating void. Reality itself fractures as a lethal power descends upon the helpless group. An arm lost, but the battle is far from over. He surges with dark, crackling power, ready to defy the impossible. A horrific strike leaves him maimed and reeling. Now, raw, crackling dark energy surges to fill the void. This is the end of everything. Reality itself begins to fracture as a cataclysmic void tears through the very heart of the planet. The world trembles on the brink of total annihilation. Desperate cries for help echo through the void. The last words of the dying are heartbreaking pleas for their families. Total, unadulterated panic fills the air as the world vanishes. A blinding surge of raw power ignites the darkness. The ultimate awakening begins now. The deletion of humanity is complete. Wait, there are still a few lingering human souls left. Drifting through the infinite void, his soul begins to fray into stardust. Darkness consumes all as he fades into nothingness. He wonders if this is really the end of his journey. The nameless divine art skill is actively resisting the erasure protocol. A singular, cold tear traces the path of a broken soul. The silence before the storm begins right here. The system finds this resistance quite interesting. Even the system is baffled by the stubbornness of the nameless divine arts. They deem him weak but worth watching, a potential anomaly they can't ignore. The debate begins. Should he be granted a second chance at survival? He thinks of his home, Korea. He wonders if his country could still be saved from this fate. He thinks of the people he loves. Are they already gone? A motion is made to grant him a reprieve. Others argue it's a waste of power to save such a weakling, but the vote moves forward. The decision is made. Song Ji-han will be sent back to the beginning of the First League era. He's completely confused. Did he just hear that correctly? The very fabric of reality is shattering before our eyes. Everything is collapsing into a chaotic void of digital destruction. Now he's being thrust into an interview of all things. He gasps, struggling to comprehend the sudden shift. He's reeling from the memory of the deletion, yet here he is, somehow back at the start. He looks around, realizing he's been transported back in time. Stunned by the unexpected turn of events, he can barely believe his own eyes. Total disbelief is written all over his face. The curtains rip open, revealing him in a moment of pure, heart-pounding shock. Everything changes right now. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The scene shifts to the year 2020 in South Korea, where the stage is set for a massive change. He mocks the legendary sword king Yoon Sejin, laughing at the absurdity of a man wielding two swords like it's some kind of grand performance. The banter continues. He asks if his friend is gaming again, noting that the tutorial is about to wrap up. A surge of realization hits. He has truly returned to the past. He pulls up his status window, desperate to see what he's working with. Name, Song Ji-han. Level 2. This was the exact moment he first stepped into the league. He grunts in frustration, ready to rewrite his destiny. He realizes that if he uses the knowledge from his future self, he can change everything. A white-hot rage boils over as he clenches his fist in fury. The tension is reaching its breaking point. No, he refuses to follow the old path. He vows to protect everyone this time around. The silence is deafening as he shuts his eyes, bracing for the storm to come. Absolute focus takes hold before the chaos erupts. A cold, lethal gaze pierces through the shadows. The hunt begins now. The match is Korea versus China, and up until this point, Korea had managed to hold a solid standing. Among the world's elite, there were 11 players widely considered the best of the best. And holding down the prestigious third-place spot was none other than Korea's own hero. A blinding flash of violet energy tears through the battlefield, cutting down everyone in its path. Chaos erupts as the team is completely overwhelmed by a single, devastating strike. With a cold, lethal gaze, he unleashes a blinding surge of power that shreds the battlefield. His strike is swift, decisive, and absolutely devastating. The man, the myth, the legend, Sword King Yoon Se-jin. As the pride of Korea, his presence as the strongest warrior allowed the nation to maintain its dominance in Northeast Asia. But then, Yoon Se-jin makes a choice that changes history forever. He decides to abandon his home, change his name to Ryu Hye, and naturalize as a Japanese citizen. In July 2020, he officially joins the new Japanese self-defense force. The news hits like a bombshell. The Sword King has defected to Japan. Song Ji-han watches the screen, his face twisted in disgust at the man who betrayed his country. The media is in a frenzy as the Sword King's departure leaves Korea's ranking in total jeopardy. Without their ace, Korea, once a powerhouse, begins a terrifying freefall through the league rankings. Desperate pundits are now just praying the country can stay within the top 20. With that kind of weak mindset, it's no wonder they started failing so miserably. But the battle.net was far more brutal than anyone initially anticipated. The Space League begins, and the stakes couldn't be higher. What started as a simple, fun game quickly spiraled out of control. The system interface flickers to life, throwing everyone into a state of pure shock. The game has officially begun, and there's no turning back now. 2 years in, it became a literal war for survival. Die in the game and you die in real life. Monsters began spawning in countries that fell to the lower ranks, leading to a one-sided massacre of the population. The survivors gathered, reflecting on the grim reality of their situation. They realized then just how vital the Sword King, Yoon Se-jin, truly was to their survival. Ji-han remembers the man, the one who was his own brother-in-law. A bone-crushing blow lands with devastating force. The glass shatters as his face meets an unstoppable fist. With a single, earth-shattering punch, he shatters the barrier into pieces. The air crackles with raw, unstoppable power. He looks at the wreckage, his mind filled with burning questions. Why, he wonders, did his sister ever fall in love with such a bastard? A chilling aura descends, freezing the air with an overwhelming and suffocating power. The atmosphere shatters as a terrifying force takes hold of the battlefield. A cold, piercing gaze locks onto the target. The predator has found his prey. A picture-perfect family lies shattered, mirroring a life torn apart by tragedy. The glass is broken, but the haunting memory of their happiness remains. 2 legendary blades pierce the rooftop, marking the site of an impending clash. The stage is set for a battle that will shake the city to its foundations. He acknowledges that while coming back to the past was a miracle, his current stats are pathetic. He stares at his screen. Level 2, Strength 5, Agility 5. He's essentially a bottom feeder. It's no wonder. At this point in his past life, he was just a drunkard wasting his time gambling. He shakes his head at his former foolishness. He really was a complete loser back then. He possessed a classless gift, Wanderer's Eyes, but he didn't even realize its true potential yet. Only a handful of players ever received a gift, and he had the lowest rank possible, F. He used to use his ability to gamble on winners, failing to see the bigger picture. Back then, he had no idea the skill's true value would only reveal itself after an awakening. His stats are truly horrendous. How on earth did he even make it to level 2? A cold, piercing gaze locks onto the target. The silence is about to be shattered. The tension spikes as a priceless bottle crashes to the floor. Our hero stands cold and unbothered amidst the shattered luxury. Apparently, some drunk idiot leveled up by accident. Talk about failing upwards. He blinks, noticing something strange on his screen. Why does he have 100,000 achievement points? He hasn't done anything impressive yet, so where did these points come from? Could his regression have glitched the system? He opens his inventory to check. Total shock hits as he realizes the horrifying truth. His world just shattered in a single heartbeat. His eyes widen. This is definitely not what he expected. It's an achievement points exchange coupon for the last survivor. A reward for those who try again. A mysterious system notification suddenly appears, leaving our hero stunned in his tracks. What game-changing secret is about to be revealed? It's an EX rank item? This is completely broken. He can't help but grin. This is going to be good. He scans the store. Upgrades, inventory expansion, and extra class slots. He wonders if upgrading will unlock better items. He needs something useful immediately. He decides to gamble and upgrades the store. The store level increases, adding an inventory expansion feature. Not what he needs. He tries it one more time. The store reaches level 3, adding a nickname-changing function. Still not quite what he's looking for to boost his power. He's down to 50,000 points. He has to be careful. One more upgrade would leave him with almost nothing. Is it worth the risk? Should he buy what he can or push his luck for a better tier? He commits to the upgrade. The store hits level 4. An urgent restoration item has been added. The color drains from his face as a chilling realization hits home. He's absolutely frozen in total shock. Urgent restoration. The ability to repair a faulty item to a perfect, pristine state. He lets out a deep, heavy sigh. A cold, calculating smirk spreads across his face as he prepares to make his next move. The trap is set, and there's no turning back now. He realizes he's just hit the ultimate jackpot. The high-tech security scanner glows to life as the finger makes contact. Will the system grant access or trigger a deadly alarm? The door slides open to reveal a cold, intense gaze that stops everything in its tracks. The tension is palpable as he steps into the light. He's standing in the private room of Yoon Sejin. The system still recognizes him as family, despite the owner being long gone. He accesses the BattleNet connector's inventory finders keepers, right? He finds his first key, a spoiled, A-rank brush that looks like absolute trash. He selects the urgent restoration skill. The brush begins to glow as the repair process initiates. The legendary weapon awakens with a surge of raw, digital power. A massive upgrade is locked and loaded for total destruction. The ancient relic pulses with raw, overwhelming power. A surge of mystic energy erupts as the gems begin to glow. The repair is officially complete. He grins. This is exactly what he needed. The brush is now an SS rank item, a legendary relic of Dongfang Shuo linked to the martial god himself. The tutorial for the Gangnam Bronze League is about to begin. 10 seconds remain on the countdown. He checks his base stats, still weak, but he has a plan. He recalls how he became the martial saint in his past life. It was all thanks to the unique martial power stat that combines strength, agility, and HP. The brush, once discarded, is now his key to unlocking that dormant potential. Crushing power surges as the countdown hits 0. The battlefield erupts in a blinding display of raw, unstoppable energy. His stats are currently sitting at 5 across the board. Suddenly, the system shifts. Everything is being consolidated into one powerful stat. The change is instantaneous. Song Jihan has logged in. The mission is simple. Survive. He's tossed into the Colosseum alongside 100 other terrified players. The dust settles on a brutal battlefield as our hero stands triumphant over the fallen. With his squad at his back, the carnage is absolute. Once half the players are gone, the survival game will automatically end. The arena is cold, dark, and filled with blood. A deafening shockwave tears through the air. The atmosphere itself shatters under the sheer force of this impact. He stares at the Colosseum. He's really back. He panics for a second, wondering where his martial power went, and checks his window. The system confirms it. Strength, agility, and HP have all merged into martial power. His eyes widen in sheer disbelief as the truth hits him like a lightning bolt. Absolute shock takes hold. Everything is about to change. His status window confirms the upgrade. He is ready to dominate. With a steady breath, he readies his mystical brush to rewrite his fate. The interface glows as he prepares to unleash his hidden power. He whispers to himself that they are meeting again. This is just the first step toward reclaiming the nameless divine art. The system warns him that he's logged in without the proper connector. A mysterious system notification suddenly appears, stopping our hero dead in his tracks. What game-changing revelation awaits him in the desert? Without the connector, he's going to feel 100% of the pain. Talk about a bad time. He remembers this clearly now. A world where you have to pay to avoid feeling like you're actually dying. High-end connectors could reduce pain by 99%, but he's currently running on hard mode. He promises himself he'll get his hands on one later. The achievement window pops up. A sudden, chilling realization stops him dead in his tracks. Whatever he just discovered changes everything. A limited quest has been issued. A sudden, chilling realization freezes him in his tracks. His eyes widen as the terrifying truth hits home. Limited quest. Achieve number 1 in the tutorial. Reward 1,000 achievement points. He smirks. With his new martial power, this will be a walk in the park. The game officially begins. It's time to survive. The lobby is buzzing with chaos. A newbie thinks he can take Jihan down. How cute. With a wild grin, he unleashes a devastating strike that shatters the very air. The battle reaches a fever pitch as he strikes with pure, unhinged power. A deafening, earth-shattering crack tears through the atmosphere. The raw power unleashed is enough to vaporize anything in its path. Our protagonist is frozen in absolute shock as the reality of the situation hits him like a freight train. What could have possibly left him this stunned? With a crushing grip, the blade is seized midair. Nothing escapes that iron-fisted hold. He's actually having the time of his life. With a flick of his finger, he stops the lethal blade dead in its tracks. The arena goes silent as his impossible display of power leaves everyone stunned. The crowd is speechless. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. He notes the groups forming to manage and train players. As the world gets hyped for Battle.net, nations are throwing every resource they have into fostering talent. With massive investments, guilds are rising up in South Korea to train the next generation of powerhouses. The competition in Gangnam Area 1 is about to get real. The martial god is back, and he's just getting started. The countdown to chaos begins. The game is about to start. Trapped between two imposing warriors, our hero breaks a sweat as the tension reaches a boiling point. Cold sweat beads on his brow as he stares down an unthinkable reality. The shock is paralyzing. He desperately tries to calm his racing heart, convincing himself that his luck will pull him through this mess. His opponent steps forward, identifying himself as Du Hyokju. He boasts about his affiliation with the Divergent Guild, feeling untouchable. The Divergent Guild, a powerhouse managed by the elite Divergent Group. As one of the most famous guilds, it's a factory for rising stars. Du Hyokju is a prodigy with an A-rank agility gift that ignores league stat restrictions, the perfect recipe for a main character complex. Getting an A-rank gift is a 1 in a million shot. This guy is practically royalty here. The crowd whispers that he's a shoo-in for the top 50. Hyokju grins, eager to see who is foolish enough to step up as his first victim. He lets out a mocking laugh, clearly enjoying the sound of his own hype. He cackles with pure, unadulterated arrogance. Our protagonist thinks to himself that staying alive is the only goal. Better to play it cool than get eliminated by an egomaniac on day one. He surveys the arena. With all this high-end gear, this place doesn't look like the Bronze League at all. Suddenly, something catches his eye. The crowd is baffled. Is that guy really entering the Bronze League looking like he just rolled out of bed? Between the sweatpants and the singlet, everyone assumes he's just a confused newbie who wandered into the wrong lobby. The realization hits them like a truck. The warrior digs his heels into the dust, ready to launch a lethal strike. He's closing the distance in a heartbeat. Hyokju smirks, thinking he's hit the jackpot with the easiest kill of his life. The emblem catches the light as he steps into the fray. A new power emerges from the shadows. The system announces the start of the match. The objective is simple: survive until the clock runs out. In a blur of desperate motion, he launches himself forward. There's no turning back now. He screams for the newbie to die, swinging with everything he's got. The countdown hits 10 seconds. A cold shiver runs down the attacker's spine as he realizes he's made a massive mistake. With a death-defying grip, a steady hand catches the blade mid-swing. Nothing can stop this sheer display of power. The blade scrapes against his skin, yet he doesn't even flinch. Tension hangs in the air as he stares down his opponent with chilling indifference. Hyokju's eyes widen. He just blocked an A-rank strike with 2 fingers. He's completely spiraling, wondering how someone could possibly match the speed of his A-rank gift. With a lightning-fast flick, the strike is unleashed. A single motion is all it takes to shatter the silence. The impact sends a shockwave through the arena. The protagonist mocks him, asking if he really thought he could win the Gangnam Bronze League with that weak gift. Hyokju loses his mind, screaming that his A-rank gift isn't just something. He's absolutely livid, struggling to process that his ego is currently being dismantled. He can't stand that a beggar is looking down on him. He's convinced the protagonist is just getting lucky because he blocked one attack. The ground trembles as he takes a decisive step forward. The hunt is officially on. Surrounded by a surge of raw power, he unsheathes his blade with unstoppable intensity. The battlefield trembles as he unleashes his dormant strength. He prepares for an all-out assault, finally realizing his opponent's speed is no joke. A lightning-fast strike narrowly misses its mark. With nerves of steel, he dodges the lethal blow without even blinking. A lethal blade slices through the air, forcing a split-second dodge. The duel reaches a fever pitch as the combatants trade blows with blinding speed. A lethal strike descends from above. Our protagonist barely has a second to react before the blade crashes down. A flurry of lethal strikes tears through the air. The combatants clash in a high-speed dance of steel and precision. He realizes he's struggling to adjust back to level 2. The mental gymnastics of this game are a nightmare. It's not that the opponent is fast. It's that he's currently playing at a disadvantage. He sighs, realizing this fight is going to be more tedious than he thought. He remembers his glory days, a sharp contrast to his current struggles. A cold, calculated smirk spreads across his face. The trap is set, and there's no turning back now. The battlefield erupts as he weaves through his attackers with lethal precision. One swift strike after another, he makes his opponents look like absolute amateurs. He reads every movement like an open book. A cry of pure agony echoes through the arena. The atmosphere shatters as his intensity spikes to a whole new level. With eyes locked on his target, he prepares to unleash absolute chaos. A lightning-fast strike shatters the air. The duel explodes into chaos as steel meets raw power. Hyaku's face goes blank in confusion. He can't believe what he's seeing. The clock ticks down to 11. With eyes glowing with lethal intent, he unsheathes his blade in a lightning-fast strike. The air itself shatters as he prepares to unleash absolute carnage. A sickening crunch resonates as the strike lands. Hyaku gasps, his pride shattered along with his defense. With a single, devastating strike, he forces his opponent to their knees. The battle is over before it even began. Hyaku clings to his life, promising a rematch that will never happen. The protagonist rolls his eyes. Talk about delusional, planning a rematch while he's literally fading away. The system announces the first kill of the tutorial. The arena falls silent as he stands ready, a glowing blade gripped in his hand. The true test of his power begins now. A flicker of light marks the end of the combatant. The harsh reality of the game sets in. When you die, your loot disappears with you. He sighs, disappointed by the lack of loot. Now that he's warmed up, he decides it's time to climb the rankings. 5 kills are the bare minimum to secure his spot. A sudden chill runs down his spine as he catches something unexpected. His eyes widen in pure, unadulterated shock. He notes that nobody else is bothering with the monsters. In Battle.net, monsters exist, but they are a grind. You need 10 monster kills to count as one player kill. They're gross, they're messy, and nobody wants to deal with them. To everyone else, wasting time on them is just plain stupid. A new, unexpected quest pops up in his interface. Annihilate the orc mob. A task to wipe out 30 orcs for a massive reward of 500 achievement points. Even if it's inefficient, the reward is just too good to ignore. 500 points is 5 times the reward of a player kill. The math is simple. There is literally no reason not to take the contract. Outnumbered and barefoot, he stands his ground as a monstrous horde charges toward him. The stage is set for a brutal, one-sided slaughter. He scoffs. These monsters are nothing compared to a real orc. A cold, piercing gaze locks onto the target with lethal intent. There is nowhere left to hide. The challenge begins in earnest. The orcs stop in their tracks, confused by the sight. They point and scream, spotting the lone human charging at them. They mock him, promising to tear the crazy human apart. A towering beast launches a lethal, bone-crushing swing. The hero barely dodges the deadly strike in a heart-pounding display of survival. A brutal, lightning-fast swing cleaves the air. There's nowhere left to hide from this lethal strike. With a cold, calculating smirk, he charges forward to deliver a crushing blow. There's no escaping the raw power behind this strike. A flash of blinding speed tears through the air. The protagonist barely tracks the lethal strike before it shatters the atmosphere. He shows them exactly how it's done. With a ruthless swing, he brings the heavy axe down to crush his opponent. Nothing stands in the way of his devastating strike. He turns the orc's own weapon against them. A bloodthirsty horde of orcs charges forward, ready to crush everything in their path. The battlefield trembles as their savage war cry echoes through the air. In a blur of motion, he slips past the charging orcs with lightning speed. He's dancing through the danger, leaving his enemies grasping at thin air. Surrounded by a horde of bloodthirsty beasts, our hero unleashes a lightning-fast strike. He's carving through the enemy lines with lethal precision. A lethal blade slices through the air with blinding speed. No one can escape this strike. One swift strike sends these monstrous heads flying. The massacre begins with a single, brutal motion. The carnage continues unabated. The orcs let out a panicked groan. A bloodthirsty horde of orcs charges forward, their eyes glowing with lethal intent. There's no escaping the path of this savage stampede. Surrounded by a bloodthirsty horde of orcs, our hero doesn't even break a sweat. It's a one-man army facing off against certain doom. The counter hits 15 out of 30. The slaughter is halfway done. Surrounded by a bloodthirsty horde of orcs, our hero stands completely unfazed. The slaughter is about to begin. A sudden, chilling realization flashes across his eyes. The intensity of the moment hits like a lightning strike. With one lightning-fast strike, he carves through the enemy ranks. The battlefield erupts as he cuts down the monsters without missing a beat. A thunderous impact shatters the air as raw power collides. The battlefield trembles from the sheer force of this brutal strike. A blinding strike tears through the beast's defenses. With one brutal motion, the monster is cut down in its tracks. A blinding strike connects squarely with the beast's skull. The monster reels from the crushing impact. With a flash of speed, he cuts down the monsters in a single, devastating strike. No mercy is shown as he effortlessly dismantles the beastly horde. The remaining orcs howl in terror, ordering their allies to kill him at all costs. He barely notices their pathetic attempts to coordinate. With a single, devastating motion, he snaps the wooden staff like a twig. The sheer power behind the blow sends splinters flying in every direction. Surrounded by a pile of defeated foes, he effortlessly discards the remnants of his battle. The remaining monster freezes in terror as it realizes it's fighting a monster of its own. The orc lets out a final, pathetic sound. The savage beast lunges forward, weapon raised to crush its prey. There's no escaping the raw, bloodthirsty power of this monster. He sighs, annoyed that they have to be so loud while trying to ambush him. The bloodthirsty beast lunges forward, swinging its massive axe with lethal intent. There's no escaping this savage strike. A deafening impact shatters the silence as raw power tears through reality. The air itself cracks under the sheer force of this devastating blow. A devastating blow lands with bone-shattering force. The impact echoes through the air as everything around them crumbles into dust. With a single, crushing grip, the wooden weapon shatters into splinters. The raw power is undeniable. The giant beast's massive axe shatters against the ground, missing its mark by a hair. Adrenaline spikes as the hunter narrowly dodges certain death. He mocks them, suggesting they invest in better gear if they want to survive. The orc is baffled that his own weapon broke. They scream for his blood, desperate to end the fight. The death warrant is signed in blood. There is no turning back now. He finds their persistence truly admirable and incredibly annoying. A heavy step lands with bone-chilling force. The tension spikes as the mysterious arrival makes their presence known. A colossal foot slams into the earth with earth-shattering force. The ground crumbles instantly under the sheer weight of the impact. A single shockwave erupts, sending a horde of massive monsters flying into the air. Our hero stands unmoved as he crushes his enemies with raw, overwhelming power. A thunderous strike slams into the earth, shattering the ground on impact. The sheer force of the blow obliterates everything in its path. With a lightning-fast motion, he snatches his blade from the air. The battle is about to begin. With a brutal, lightning-fast strike, he slams his weapon into the earth. The ground shatters under the sheer force of his overwhelming power. A single, blinding slash tears through the battlefield. The enemies don't even stand a chance against such overwhelming speed. The lone warrior faces a wall of monstrous foes. Tension erupts as he prepares to strike. The orc looks on in horror. He literally didn't see what just happened. With a lightning-fast reflex, he snatches the weapon right out of the air. The momentum stops dead in its tracks. With a blade in hand and nerves of steel, he braces for the lethal strike. The arena trembles as he prepares to defy death itself. A lightning-fast strike connects, sending the orc reeling from the brutal impact. There's no time to recover as the carnage continues. A blinding flash of pure energy tears through the air, obliterating the orc horde in one devastating strike. Not a single beast can withstand this overwhelming power. One swift strike leaves the battlefield in stunned silence. A single warrior stands tall amidst the fallen carnage. The survivors whisper in fear he's no human. They realize with horror that they're up against a genuine monster. With eyes glowing with lethal intent, our hero lunges forward to deliver a crushing blow. The beast doesn't stand a chance against this sudden burst of power. The system confirms the quest, the annihilation of orcs, has been successfully cleared. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The system interface flickers to life, revealing a game-changing revelation. With a sharp blade in hand, he stands on the brink of a new destiny. A notification blares in his mind. He is leveled up. He's stunned. Leveling up mid-game shouldn't be possible until the final calculation. Is it because he's such a low level? Either way, he's not complaining. It's time to pump those stats. He contemplates his options, knowing exactly which stat needs the love. His status window updates, showcasing his name, rank, and that shiny new F-rank gift. He eyes the martial power stat, a unique, overpowered blend of strength, agility, and stamina. It's an absolute beast of a stat, doubling his base abilities at a minimum. Talk about a cheat code, but there's a secret reason why martial power is his top priority. Once he hits level 30 in martial power, he gains a shot at the legendary SSS rank Unnamed Divine Arts. He stares at his paltry 5 points. He needs that divine skill and he needs it yesterday. Unfortunately, leveling up martial power isn't exactly a walk in the park. Wait, what just happened? The world fades into a void of pure silence. Did he just break the game? His level jumped. The system confirms it. The growth is real. Usually, you'd need years of blood, sweat, and tears to boost martial power, but he's doing it by accident. This is absolutely massive. He doesn't know how he's doing it, but he's ready to ride this wave as far as it goes. With a focus sharp enough to cut through the air, the archer releases a devastating mana-infused shot. There is no escaping the path of this lethal arrow. A chilling realization strikes as his eyes lock onto the truth. Everything changes in this single, heart-stopping moment. He narrowly avoids disaster. An arrow? Who's trying to pick a fight? His attacker sneers, calling him a lucky bastard for dodging that one. He sighs. It's time to end this little game before the clock runs out. He reminds them of the rule. The first one to land a kill takes the prize. It looks like the two of them have decided to team up against him. The survival map is meant for PvP, but there's no rule against a little 2-on-1 bullying. That logo on their armor. It's the infamous Turtle Guild, one of the top 10 in Korea. A warrior and an archer. The classic combo of close-quarters pain and long-range annoyance. If they're from the same guild, this is definitely a coordinated hit. The tutorial is reaching its final, breathless moments. The casualty count is climbing fast. This map is a meat grinder. He realizes that if he just plays defensively, he can survive this chaos easily. His eyes narrow with chilling intensity, locking onto his target. There's no turning back now, but if they really came here specifically to hunt him down, he has a different plan. He declines the invitation to die. Thanks, but no thanks. A mysterious blue interface shimmers into existence, leaving him stunned. The game-changing notification has finally arrived. 4 kills in the bag so far. Not too shabby. He scans the scoreboard. He's sitting comfortably in first place. This is turning out better than he expected. He might as well cement his rank while he has the chance. He mocks his opponents, telling them they should be ashamed of themselves. HM? What's that look for? With a single, thunderous strike, he shatters the silence and sends his target flying. The battlefield erupts as raw power collides with pure chaos. Only 58 survivors left. The end is coming. The tutorial is almost done. Only the strongest will remain. The armored knight charges, but he's walking straight into a trap. An explosive clash sends dust flying everywhere. The knight is baffled. How could he possibly take down that woman so easily? The fighter delivers a lightning-fast strike, catching the guard completely off guard. A single brutal kick sends shockwaves through the battlefield. The guard lets out a pathetic, guttural cry as he's sent airborne. He stops in his tracks, eyes widening as he spots a new, unexpected threat. The knight boasts about his B-rank Turtle Guild armor, claiming it's practically indestructible. He sneers, telling our hero that his puny weapon won't even scratch the surface. He unleashes a flurry of attacks, showing that armor who's boss. A devastating impact shatters the floor into jagged shards. The sheer force of the collision sends shockwaves tearing through the ground. He's hitting the exact same spot over and over. Efficiency is key, folks. The armor cracks under the pressure. He mocks them. If they're just going to lounge around in B-rank armor, they might as well go home. He decides they need a little more discipline. A blood-curdling scream shatters the silence. Panic erupts as the chilling sound echoes through the dark. A familiar face appears. It's Lee Hae-yeon, a division head from the Divergent Guild. The relief is palpable in her voice. Her bodyguard, Lim Gaeong, is clearly unimpressed by the commotion. She notes that getting summoned next to him would have been a ticket to disqualification. The leaderboard updates. Jihan is pulling ahead with 6 kills. They discuss whether it's safer to just avoid him entirely. The lady of the guild is feeling spicy, ordering Gaeong to just go pummel him. Gaeong isn't keen on the fight, but an order is an order. Data collection is the priority. She begrudgingly accepts her fate. A cold, piercing gaze locks onto the target. The predator has finally found their prey. It's time for the main event. Song Jihan versus the Divergent Guild. With a single, effortless strike, he shatters the knight's defenses. His cold grin says it all. This fight was over before it even began. The battle rages on, and the legendary path of the martial god begins to unfold. Lim Gaeong, the S-rank prodigy, is the pride of the Divergent Guild. With 4 kills, she's clearly a heavyweight contender. Meanwhile, the Turtle Guild scouts are just whining about lunch. Honestly, focus on the job, guys. Everyone is asking the same question. How is a level 2 doing this? The mystery surrounding him is only growing. The legend continues as he carves his name into history. A colossal skyscraper pierces the sky, hiding secrets behind its towering glass facade. The stage is set for a high-stakes encounter. The system confirms it. He has conquered the tutorial. As a reward, his EXP boost jumps by 50%. Being first definitely has its perks. He figures he's leveling up so fast just because he's still a rookie. The tutorial is over, and it turns out it doesn't pay any GP. What a scam. No time to dwell on that. All his remaining points are going straight into martial power. His stat climbs from 6 to 9. Power. Plus, he's earned himself a fancy new nickname. Tutorial Conqueror grants him +1 to all attributes and another 20% EXP boost in the Bronze League. It only works in Bronze, but hey, it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. With the bonus, his stats are looking real nice. He checks his status window. Everything is coming together. Being the top dog in the Bronze League is going to be a breeze. A faint, mysterious smile plays on his lips as he contemplates his next calculated move. The calm before the storm has arrived. The silver promotion battle is still a ways off at level 25, so he has time to grow. A sudden realization hits hard, freezing him in his tracks. His eyes widen as the shocking truth finally sets in. He still has a class advancement slot open. Reaching level 5 was the key. Now it's time to pick his destiny. Warrior, archer, mage, or support. In his previous life he picked warrior, but maybe it's time for a change. He knows the warrior path like the back of his hand, which makes it the safe choice. He checks the achievement store, so many upgrades, so little points. This is mind-blowing. The possibilities are endless. He doesn't have to stick to the warrior class this time. He can get creative. Warrior, archer, mage, or support. He makes his decision. He goes for the one nobody expects. A bloodthirsty horde of monsters descends, their glowing eyes burning with pure, unrelenting malice. There is nowhere left to run from this nightmare. The graveyard is teeming with them. It's not just a fight. It's a total infestation. A relentless horde of the damned emerges from the shadows to claim their prey. There is nowhere left to run from this suffocating sea of monsters. The mission is clear: hold the line. Protect the crystal at all costs. A mysterious, pulsing relic hums with raw power as the lone warrior stands ready to face destiny. The stage is set for an epic confrontation that will shake the very foundations of the world. He grips his weapon, ready to paint the town red. The defense continues, and Lim Gaeong is looking ready to work. Even within the mana field, the pressure is immense. The monsters are screaming, and they are not happy. It's a full-on monster mosh pit. With a cold, piercing gaze, he unleashes raw power as pillars of light erupt behind him. The battlefield trembles as his true strength finally awakens. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Of all the modes to pick, it had to be a defense mission? Seriously? His teammates are a mixed bag. A rich archer with fancy gear and a mage who looks like he's lost. The stakes are high, and the map is unforgiving. A blinding surge of raw power tears through the heavens. The battlefield erupts as an unstoppable force of energy incinerates everything in its path. He's playing the support role now. A blinding pillar of pure destruction erupts, shattering everything in its path. Our hero unleashes an overwhelming surge of power that leaves nothing but chaos behind. The archer lets fly a high-speed strike, clearing the way. Defense is a war of attrition, and he knows the support is the backbone of the team. Eyes widen in pure shock. Something completely unexpected has just shattered his composure. He takes a deep breath. What just happened? He's a support? Since when? The system warned him. The support class isn't compatible with his usual playstyle. He did it anyway. With a single tap, a mysterious blue interface flickers to life. The game-changing notification has finally arrived. There is only one reason he chose such a useless class. The incompatibility is actually the whole point. Class advancement complete. He's officially a support. His stats are adjusted, and his divine power is ready to be exploited. He needs divine power to grow his second unique stat. It's a genius move, really. It's a fussy ability, but he's never been one to shy away from a challenge. You can't just train this stat in the gym. It requires something more. He has to dump his hard-earned points into it. He's sacrificing his martial power progress, but he knows it's worth the gamble. He has a trick up his sleeve that nobody else knows about. A crushing, ominous silence descends as the world fades into a void of pure dread. Everything is about to change in a heartbeat. He has a surefire way to make this work. His team is looking at him like he's lost his mind. A support? They ask. The party is losing it. They think he's completely thrown the game. He finds their panic hilarious. If only they knew what was coming. The mage is throwing a tantrum about his expensive gear and the incompetent support. Jihan tells him to chill out, but the mage is way past the point of no return. The mage is threatening to quit, calling the whole thing filthy. Someone needs a nap. They're stuck with a troll, and they're convinced they're doomed. Poor, naive souls. What the hell is going on here? He screams in a panic, begging for release. But his protests fall on deaf ears as the situation spirals out of control. Caught completely off guard, his composure shatters as the unthinkable unfolds right before his eyes. The shock is palpable, and the situation just went from bad to worse. He lets out a bewildered, "Huh," as he realizes he's totally out of his depth. The number 10 flashes ominously, ticking down toward an uncertain fate. The ultimatum is clear: play by the rules or suffer the consequences. Eyes wide with pure shock, he freezes as the unexpected truth hits him like a lightning bolt. Something just changed everything. The protagonist stands completely unfazed as his companion panics in sheer terror. With a cold, steady gaze, he prepares to face the chaos head-on. With a chillingly calm gaze, he stops his opponent dead in their tracks. The threat is real, and the violence is just getting started. Total submission. With a desperate vow, our hero bows before the looming figure to prove his worth. It's none other than Kim Gyuyuk, now reduced to groveling on the floor for a scrap of mercy. The cold voice of the system echoes. He has been granted a total of 3 lives. Talk about a second and third chance. 3 mysterious silhouettes emerge from the darkness, radiating an ominous crimson glow. The stage is set for a deadly confrontation. This is the Bronze League's defense game, where mistakes are paid for in blood. Kim Gyuyuk manages to respawn immediately after being wiped out by Song Ji-han. But the nightmare is far from over. The realization hits him like a brick. Ah, right, there was a resurrection mechanic in play. He stands trembling, paralyzed by the sheer intensity of the moment. The atmosphere turns deadly as he hefts his weapon, ready to paint the town red. No more holding back. It's time to unleash pure chaos. Desperation kicks in. He promises to work his hardest just to survive another day. If he doesn't step it up, he's staring down the barrel of last place. He panics, realizing that falling into last place means a massive level penalty. All those expensive skills he bought are about to vanish into thin air. Someone call a financial advisor for this guy. The system warns him. If his level drops, his skills go poof. Talk about a quick change in attitude from our terrified friend. He screams in terror, flailing wildly and begging for mercy while begging for fire. Our protagonist notes with dry amusement that his fire magic was actually halfway decent. He stammers in agreement, desperately trying to prove his worth as a fire mage. Fire mages are the ultimate mob-clearing machines, after all. He reminds everyone he's level 15, as if that makes him the main character of this disaster. He pleads his case, certain that a precious resource like him shouldn't be discarded so easily. Song Ji-han finally remembers why that face looked so familiar. It's Kim Gyuyuk, a former elite guild member who fell from grace and turned into a total menace after failing his promotions. 20 seconds left. The clock is ticking, and the pressure is mounting. He holds up a finger, declaring there is one condition to his cooperation. 74 seconds left, and he's finally ready to play ball. Someone suggests they all just hug it out and make up, as if that ever works in a death game. He mutters "fucker" under his breath, clearly still harboring some serious resentment. He vows to make him pay for this humiliation, no matter the cost. With a desperate, forceful yank, he tears the ornament from his cloak. The tension hits its breaking point in a single, decisive move. A confused sound escapes his lips. What exactly is happening now? The tension is rising, and the audience is on the edge of their seats. He's genuinely offended that someone would demand an apology from him. Caught off guard, he freezes as a mysterious hand clamps down on his collar. The tension spikes as he realizes he's no longer in control. He stammers a weak "wait," but it's already too late for excuses. He wonders if anyone would actually believe he was the one who started this mess. He tries to play the victim, but his reputation precedes him. A blood-curdling cry rings out as reality catches up to him. The system announces the death of mage-class Kim Gyuyuk. That's one less headache to worry about. The screen flickers as the game continues without missing a beat. A final piece of advice. Maybe use some common sense next time you try to pick a fight. The air goes cold as he stands frozen in absolute, stunned silence. Reality just shattered before his very eyes. The title card flashes, reminding us that the grind never truly stops. The chaos continues as the fire mage's flames light up the field. Maybe they can roast some marshmallows while they're at it? They lament the loss of their mage, wondering how they'll ever survive the next wave. A heated argument breaks out. Turns out ego is the deadliest enemy of all. A new quest appears. Finish first in the 10 towers for a massive reward. A linked quest? This just keeps getting more complicated by the second. The origin of the zombies is revealed. Kill 1,000 of them solo for a huge bonus. 1,000 zombies? All by himself? That's a tall order even for a pro. It seems nearly impossible given the time limit, but our hero isn't one to back down. Those 3,000 points are too good to pass up. He's going all in. The tension reaches a breaking point as a cold, calculating gaze looms over the battlefield. Silence speaks volumes while a lethal confrontation hangs in the balance. Lim Gaeong has been watching Song Ji-han, and she's not impressed with his worst-in-class attitude. He does exactly what he wants, and his supporter class feels like a complete waste of his stats. With a weapon in hand and cold resolve in his eyes, he prepares to unleash chaos. There's no turning back now. She demands an answer, frustrated by his blatant disregard for her presence. He pauses. Can he really just ditch her and fight alone? If he can isolate those zombies, maybe he can pull off the impossible after all. With a cold, lethal focus, she draws her blade to seal her opponent's fate. The silence before the strike is deafening. It's practically a done deal, but he still needs to act like a responsible player. He tells her it's okay, but his tone suggests he's got a secret plan. He insists on taking the front line, shielding his companion from the worst of the danger. He tells her to protect him instead. A request that catches her completely off guard. A terrifying, monstrous claw slams onto the surface with bone-chilling force. Fear grips the air as an unspeakable horror makes its presence known. The monstrous beast erupts with blood-red energy, ready to tear everything in its path to shreds. Raw, unbridled carnage is about to be unleashed. It's a blood zombie. These guys are definitely not your average mindless walking corpses. Their heads are made of something immune to physical attacks. Good luck swinging a sword at that. Things are looking grim for our heroes as the enemies pile up. This is bad. Like, Don't go outside bad. The monstrous beast lunges with lethal intent, but our hero stands his ground, ready to strike. Steel meets savagery in this heart-pounding showdown. A lethal strike tears through the air with blinding speed. Blood-red trails mark the path of an unstoppable, lightning-fast assault. He stands ready, his focus absolute as the battle reaches its peak. The air turns electric as a chilling, otherworldly power manifests right before their eyes. Stunned and speechless, they realize their reality has just been shattered. Could it be divine power? The beast lets out a final, agonizing cry as it meets its end. A lightning-fast blade tears through the air, delivering a brutal, jaw-shattering blow. The impact is instantaneous and devastating. The dust settles, but the threat is far from over. He's not even sure he can pull this off, but he's not quitting now. A solitary, glowing heart pulses in the crushing darkness. It's the final spark of life hanging by a thread. He shrugs. Might as well give it a go and see what happens. The quest counter ticks up. 6 out of 1,000 zombies down. Only 994 to go. With eyes locked on the target, he lunges forward in a blur of pure speed. There's no escaping his lethal strike now. The numbers climb. 12, 13. He's tearing through them like paper. 19 down. He's picking up the pace and looking dangerous. 26 down. He's barely breaking a sweat, but the horde is endless. He reminds himself that physical attacks are useless against these blood zombies. Every time he spots one, he releases a precise burst of divine power. It's like watching a master artist at work, if the art involved killing zombies. With one final flash, he clears the area. Efficient, clean, and terrifying. Even his companion has to admit, that support power is absolutely insane. She's begrudgingly impressed. He might be a jerk, but he's a damn good player. He's controlling his divine power with perfect efficiency, not wasting a single drop. A chilling realization stops him dead in his tracks. His eyes widen as the gravity of the situation finally sinks in. But there's something even more important to consider. He's been targeting their heads with surgical precision since the very start. A heavy footfall shatters the ground, signaling the arrival of an unstoppable force. The earth trembles as he makes his presence known. The battlefield is a wreck, but he's just getting warmed up. Raw energy surges as a devastating strike tears through the air. The protagonist narrowly evades the lethal blow, leaving only debris and shock in its wake. The condition has finally been met. Level up. He has completely mastered the secrets of another world's faith. Surrounded by crackling blue energy, he prepares to unleash a devastating strike. The calm before the storm has arrived. Divine power is increasing. 6, 7. It's rising fast. He stands tall, ready to claim his reward. Nice, he mutters, feeling the power surge through his veins. Surrounded by a crackling violet aura, he grips his weapon with lethal intent. The battle is about to reach a breaking point. Divine items, relics from a forgotten era of the tutorial. Back in 2010, everyone thought these were keys to the kingdom. 10 years later, turns out they were mostly just expensive paperweights. The truth about these relics is finally coming to light. However, he knows something no one else does. He's been using an American first-grade item, once owned by the Saintess herself, to boost his stats. What? How did he get his hands on that? The American First Guild really let a goldmine slip through their fingers. Is it even possible to boost divine power like that after the tutorial? It's the secret to her success as the legendary Saintess. If you pray to these items long enough, the power starts to flow. The conditions are tricky, but the payoff is worth it. He can't believe nobody else figured out such a simple exploit. It makes sense, though. The items are so rare that most people never even see one. And they only work during the tutorial, making them a limited-time cheat code. That's not entirely true, though. There's more to the story. The truth is buried deep, and he's digging it all up. High-quality information is the most valuable currency in this game. Someone else has been buying these items up behind the scenes. A cold, intense gaze locks onto his target. The silence is shattered by his sheer, imposing presence. He knows there's another player out there pulling the same strings. He remembers the Sword Palace penthouse, and what he found hidden away in the dark. A cold sweat breaks as he stares into the abyss of an unexpected truth. Everything he thought he knew has just shattered in an instant. They're all empty shells now, their power completely drained. The Holy Grail, the cross, the pendant, all deactivated and useless. Could it really be that simple? The identity of the mysterious collector is finally revealed. It's the other saintess, the one he knows all too well. It's his own elder sister, Song Jia. She was South Korea's greatest support and a true hero, but she's been gone for a long time. Her death is a tragic tale from the distant past. With a sharp tug, he seals his jacket and prepares for the storm ahead. The moment of truth has finally arrived. Among the items she left behind, he found something peculiar. A simple, unassuming steel pole. It's graded as an otherworldly divine item. Turns out the clergy used them to bonk cultists on the head to strengthen their faith. The item description is as ridiculous as it is effective. With a single, thunderous strike, he cleaves through the chaos. The battlefield shudders as his overwhelming power rips reality apart. Even with its grade dropped and the power mostly drained, it's still enough to change the game. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Tension reaches a breaking point as the hero steps up to face the duo. With a massive, ominous crystal looming behind them, the stage is set for a legendary showdown. The onlookers are floored. His physique is top tier, but that level of keyboard control, it's practically impossible. A cry rings out about a fallen tower nearby. It's a top 5 ranked location. Someone get these people a map. A blood-curdling shriek echoes as an undead monstrosity launches a desperate attack. Absolute chaos breaks out. A blade flashes with lethal precision, scattering petals through the air. One strike is all it takes to seal the enemy's fate. A flurry of strikes tears through the battlefield. The protagonist deflects the onslaught with ease, leaving his opponent in total shock. The onlookers can only whisper in awe, wondering exactly who this guy is. Recognition flickers in their eyes. She looks familiar. It's the legendary Plum Blossom Sword. She was once the famous interim Sword King, though history books aren't kind about her final days. Everyone remembers her tragic end at the hands of Yoon Sejin, or was it Ryu Hiei? Somehow, he's managed to save the Plum Blossom Sword once again. The fans are cheering, but don't forget to keep your eyes on the prize. A chilling realization turns the air blood red. The hero freezes, hit by an intense, overwhelming pressure. A bold invitation is extended to join forces and climb the rankings together. He pulls up his status window to assess the situation. The score updates. Song Ji-han and his team are racking up zombie kills, but they've still got a long way to go to hit that 1,000 mark. With only 88 seconds left, the clock is ticking down fast. They need a miracle, and they need it now. He's confident. With the Plum Blossom Sword on their side, they're practically unstoppable. The trio holds their ground on the tower as the horde claws at the walls. The mysterious crystal pulses. The finale is here. He grins, ready to unleash his full power. Let's see what happens. With a daring leap, our hero dives straight into the sea of undead. He's playing for keeps. Confusion sweeps through the enemy ranks. What just happened to their formation? Even the monsters are confused by his audacity. Gravity bows to him as he soars above the horde, leaving his enemies scrambling in the dirt. Pure mana crackles around his blade. The real fight starts right now. He prepares to gather everything into one final, devastating strike. A pillar of raw mana erupts, vaporizing everything in its path. The battlefield is torn apart by the sheer intensity of the blast. The onlookers are speechless. That was pure overkill. Victory. They've secured first place and cleared the 10 Towers quest. He doesn't look surprised at all. He knew he had this in the bag. Was it too much? Maybe, but he's still got hundreds of zombies left to clear on his own. The team is buzzing with excitement, thanking him for the legendary carry. The teammates are already planning a rematch, eager to see him in action again once they're stronger. He's humble, but he knows the grind never stops. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. They promise to team up again, but for now, the quest is complete. A cold dread settles in as the hero stares at the blood-red horizon. Something terrifying has arrived, and there's no place left to hide. His mind races. This simply makes no sense. How could an independent player and a low-level support at that pull this off alone? Is the system bugged? He decides he's seen enough. Time to log out and process this. The rewards are calling, and he's not about to miss out on his loot. He locks eyes with Song Ji-han, the man of the hour. She stares down the threat, frozen by the reality of what she's just witnessed. She knows they shouldn't have met like this. She has to talk to him. Her mind is made up. They need this man in the Divergent Guild at all costs. She introduces herself as Lim Gaeong, urgently asking for his contact information to secure his recruitment. The battlefield goes silent. His glare speaks volumes. He's not impressed. She freezes, the weight of his gaze hitting her like a ton of bricks. Her composure shatters. What just happened? She starts rambling, trying to backtrack after blurting out her request for his number on their very first meeting. She fumbles, trying to re-establish her professional persona as a Divergent Guild member. She tries to frame it as a business move, but the damage to her pride is done. He hits her with the ultimate brush-off, claiming he can't even remember his own number. He walks away, leaving the door open for another time if she's lucky. A massive surge of magical energy erupts. He remains unbothered, standing tall amidst the storm. The system announces that an ally has logged out, leaving the field empty. She's still reeling. How can he possibly not remember his own number? A sudden realization hits her. The credits roll, but the mystery of the man remains. He's actually struggling to remember his own Korean digits. He's wandering through a cafe, trying to look cool while completely forgetting his own contact info. A cold, heavy silence hangs in the air as he contemplates his next move. He realizes he's stood out way too much for comfort. With a piercing gaze, he prepares for the challenges ahead. The hunt is just beginning. He's already made up his mind. He has absolutely no intention of joining a guild right now. He taps the status window to check his progress. It's time to focus on what actually matters. His stats are laid bare. Level 8, Bronze League, and a unique Wanderer's Eye gift. He's a walking powerhouse. He's got 1,500 GP. But is it enough? He's locked onto his target, calculating every move before anyone else even draws a breath. He browses the GP store, eyeing the holy items. They're way out of his price range. Talk about inflation. He sighs, even in this era, the cost is absurd. Home is the next stop. It's time to raid his sister's storage for anything valuable. He's already planning his next upgrade. A single tap hacks into the system, and the security barriers begin to crumble like wet paper. The numbers flash by, unlocking hidden pathways. He stops, blindsided by an unexpected turn of events right on his doorstep. Pure shock grips him. The truth is finally hitting home. A pair of loafers at the door. Someone's here, and they didn't knock. He pauses, confused by the sudden intrusion. Everyone has regrets, but this one is especially deep. A familiar face appears in the doorway. Could it really be her? The tension is thick enough to choke on. A foot jams the closing door. Someone is forcing their way in, and they aren't taking no for an answer. The guilt of the past surfaces, the failure to protect someone close. She's surprised to see him awake and wandering around at such an hour. She checks on his hangover, a classic sibling move. He brushes it off. He'll be just fine. He marvels at how strong she's become. A dark glint enters his eyes as he prepares for a difficult conversation. She confirms it with a smile. She's stronger than ever. A chilling gaze pierces the room. There's nowhere for the truth to hide now. He makes a vow. He's going to be the one to protect her from now on. And he means every word of it. He apologizes for the past, desperate to make things right. A cry of pure agony erupts. His world shatters as the weight of his failures finally forces a scream from his soul. She finds his behavior absolutely shameless. She calls him out. Why is he going silent now? A memory of her childhood smile flashes back, stabbing her with nostalgia. She calls out to her uncle, breaking the icy tension. They lock eyes in a standoff that will change everything. The room feels suffocating, filled with the weight of years of unspoken pain. She's 18 now, the child of Yoon Sejin and his sister. A complicated family tree, to say the least. He wonders if the Jeju living situation has finally hit its end. He chuckles. He's the only one who had the guts to end it early. The news is going wild over her dad, the Sword King, joining the new forces. It's just the two of them left in this house now. He asks the big question, did her father reach out? She confirms he did, but the news isn't exactly good. Love makes people do crazy things, even fathers. She's livid. Her dad fell in love and threw his family away for some absurd condition. She cuts the connection, done with the drama. She curses him. He's absolute trash. She realizes he's always been this way. She was just too blind to see it. How could he trade his daughter and his country for a single girl? A dark aura surges as he struggles to suppress his rage. A broken family photo lies on the floor, the physical symbol of their shattered trust. He apologizes, realizing he let his temper get the best of him. The anger just took over, he couldn't help it. He feels bad. It's still her father, after all. She hits back. Why did he have to be the one to break it first? His composure cracks, the mask of the stoic hero falling away to reveal the broken man underneath. He admits it, he wanted to see it break. She tells him not to worry about it. It's just an object. She's resilient. Even after betrayal, she wears a bright smile to hide the pain. She worries about him more than herself, which only makes his heart ache more. He tells her to stop putting everyone else first. A new promise is made for the future. A firm hand rests on her head, stopping her mid-sentence. Sparks fly as the unexpected touch leaves her stunned and silent. He's shocked. She's taking care of him, even when she's the one hurting. He reaffirms his pledge. He is her protector now. She stares at him, stunned by the weight of his sincerity. He drifts into a restless sleep, his mind haunted by the secrets he keeps. She thanks him, her voice barely a whisper. He glances back, making sure she's all right. She jokes that he smells like sweat. The tension is finally breaking. He's caught off guard by her bluntness. The world moves on. But their journey is just getting started. The Divergent Guild headquarters, the heart of the action. A sudden laugh breaks the silence. She tells him he can laugh, but he's still trying to hold it together. They both burst into uncontrollable laughter. What a relief. She's sulking just a little bit, but he's definitely an entertaining guy. She explains the harsh reality. People judge by appearances first, and she feels like a total amateur compared to him. Her eyes widen. She's spotted something that changes everything. And just like that, they've got a massive new problem on their hands. Whispers spread about the famous plum blossom sword Gaeong. A man wonders if he should ask her out, only to be reminded that she'd probably slice him in half for the trouble. He's warned that if he keeps running his mouth, he's going to get an earful from the wrong people. The scene shifts to the quiet, familiar comfort of the lounge. She sighs in relief, finally at peace, before turning her attention to the burning question. What's the plan for recruiting Song Ji-han? He explodes in frustration, venting about the old men breathing down his neck to get the job done. Talk about a headache. Silence falls thick and heavy as the weight of the task settles in. Suddenly, a notification pings. Song Ji-han has started a live broadcast, and it's time to tune in. Shock hits him like a truck. Why is Ji-han streaming now of all times? He can't help but roast her for still being obsessed with gambling streams. She stares at the screen, utterly speechless. The tension skyrockets as a cold, calculating gaze pierces through the darkness. Someone is about to get schooled. His jaw drops. He can't believe what he's seeing on the young lady's screen. A mysterious holographic interface suddenly materializes, leaving her frozen in absolute shock. The game has officially changed. The chat is absolutely popping off. Fans are buzzing about the surprise stream, Ji-han's visuals, and the mysterious title. The title is the real deal. Song Ji-han is putting himself out there for the world to see. Viewers are losing their minds as Ji-han claims to be the Sword King's brother-in-law, causing a massive stir in the comments section. He urges her to step back, desperate to keep the broadcast focused on what really matters. The chat goes wild over Ji-han's physique. Did he start hitting the gym, or is that just pure, raw power? The viewer count is climbing at an insane, record-breaking speed. Someone in the chat is absolutely losing it, calling him a crazy bastard for his bold claims. Total shock hits as they witness an absolute nightmare unfold before their eyes. Their faces say it all. They are completely caught off guard. The viewers are ruthless, calling out the brutal honesty of the situation. A heavy, ominous silence hangs in the air. The chat descends into pure chaos as people argue over traitors and loyalties. Looks like the internet is doing its usual job of being a dumpster fire. Panic erupts as someone desperately tries to stop the madness before it's too late. Over 1 million people are watching this train wreck unfold, and the comments are moving so fast that nobody can keep up. A system notification chimes. Achievement accomplished. He lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding. A wave of relief washes over him. Another ding. The system confirms yet another achievement in the bag. He drops a bombshell, announcing he's ready to spill the tea on Sword King Yoon Sejin's naturalization. The battle tube interface glows, ready to broadcast his every move to the masses. Battle-2 dominates the market, and tonight, it's going to be the stage for a revolution. He's crunching the numbers, every view, every like, and every dislike is just more fuel for his reward-gathering machine. There's no better time to be the Sword King's brother-in-law, and he's ready to cash in on the drama. The credits roll behind the scenes as the stage is set for the main event. Achievement unlocked. He's successfully gathered 100,000 dislikes, and the chat is questioning if he's actually superhuman. A cold, calculating gaze locks onto the target. The predator has found his prey. He chuckles to himself. He knew Yoon Se-jin would be useful for something, even if it's just farming negative attention. The black logo of the twin swords appears, casting a dark shadow over the stream. The fan club is in the spotlight. That toxic obsession is exactly what led Seo to her tragic end. They were the biggest supporters, but time and resentment turned their love into a weapon. They needed a scapegoat, and they chose her, driving their anger until it was far too late. He leans into the camera, demanding that everyone listen to the ugly truth he's about to reveal. With a single, devastating strike, he shatters the barrier into oblivion. No defense can withstand such overwhelming power. He delivers the final blow. Ryu Hei isn't coming back, and the audience is stunned. The trolls are out in full force, trying to downplay his power because he's only a bronze. But they're clearly sweating. He hits play on the recording, the definitive proof of Ryu Hei's betrayal. The chat is in shambles as they realize the truth. Ryu Hei is officially branded as total trash. The once boisterous chat falls into an eerie, dead silence as the weight of the recording sinks in. The timestamp ticks forward, the evidence is undeniable. With his suit torn and his gaze sharpened, he shifts his focus to the threat looming right behind him. A single moment of clarity cuts through the noise. Even in the middle of a scandal, the viewers can't help but notice how pretty she is. Priorities, right? The tension is palpable as the pair stands frozen before the recording lens. Secrets are about to be exposed. A clip plays showing the promise of the Sword Palace, and the chat is green with envy, though some wonder what he's actually plotting. A voice in the chat tells them to stop whining and work for their own success, though it falls on deaf ears. He makes a firm stand. He will not inherit the legacy of a man who abandoned his own blood and country. The audience is reeling. Donating the entire palace to the country? They think she's lost her mind. Battered and bruised, he stands in chilling silence. The calm before the storm has finally arrived. He promises to share more details later, leaving the world hanging on his every word. Disbelief ripples through the room. They can't believe he's serious about giving it all away. He looks at her, hurt by her reaction, but his resolve remains unshaken. They clash over the decision, but he's never been more clear-headed about what needs to be done. A bead of sweat betrays his cool facade as he wipes away the tension. Something is clearly weighing on his mind. He begs her to trust him. This is about survival, not just a real estate transaction. He's playing a dangerous game, but he'll do whatever it takes to secure her future. The government has officially confiscated Yoon Se-jin's assets, and the public is out for blood. He recalls the tragedy, the stalking and threats that pushed her to the brink. He's turning the tables. If the state is going to take it, he'll donate it first to win the public's favor and keep Seo safe. It's a lonely path. He's just the freeloader uncle to her, and he can't exactly tell her he's a time traveler. The atmosphere freezes as she stares in stunned silence, caught completely off guard. What shocking revelation has just left her speechless? She finally finds her voice, an agreement, however reluctant. He pauses, waiting for the reality of his choice to set in. She's baffled by his sudden change in demeanor, but he's not backing down now. The stream is reaching a fever pitch, and he's ready to drop the next bomb. It's been ages since she's seen this look in his eyes. He carries himself with a new, dangerous confidence that demands respect. She wonders who or what could have possibly changed him so drastically. A cold, confident smirk creeps across his face. He knows exactly how this game ends. A tense stare-down unfolds as she locks eyes with the mysterious man, his torn suit hinting at the brutal battle he just survived. A fanatical member of the Sword King family tries to call him a conman, but the damage to their reputation is already done. Fresh from the heat of battle, our hero stands tall with a torn suit and a gaze that could kill. He's unbothered, dangerous, and ready for whatever comes next. He welcomes the insults. The more they lash out, the more they distance themselves from Seo, and that's exactly what he wants. The name Yoon Sejin is dragged through the mud, and the internet is loving every second of it. He's proud of his work. Sometimes you have to burn the house down to keep the people inside safe. She's shocked because none of this was in the original plan. But honestly, who cares about scripts anymore? The insults fly as people remind him that he only fled to Japan because he couldn't hack it in Korea. The chat is having a field day with the bronze player taking down a legend. A flicker of light catches his eye. He issues a final warning to his enemies. He's coming for them, and he's going to crush them all. The international audience is logging in, confused by the drama but ready to watch the fireworks. The percentage of viewers is skyrocketing, and he's just getting started. The screen fades to black as the stream hits its peak. He tries to calm her down, telling her to ignore the noise. He's got everything under control. She looks at him, sensing that the man standing before her is a complete stranger compared to the uncle she knew. He knows it's impossible to hide the truth forever, but he's doing his best to play the part. Death and regression have a funny way of making a person act a little differently, wouldn't you say? With a single, decisive press, the countdown to chaos begins. There is no turning back now. He narrows his eyes. Who could possibly be showing up at a time like this?
A surprise visitor?
He wasn't expecting this development, but he's ready for the challenge. He squares his shoulders, prepared to see exactly who's brave enough to face him. The scene shifts to the neon-lit streets of Tokyo, where the shadows hide many secrets. The city lights blaze under the cover of night, hiding the chaos brewing in the shadows below. Something big is about to go down in this concrete jungle. The news is reporting on the worsening relations between Korea and Japan. The fallout from the Sword King's choice is global. People are baffled that a man of his stature would throw it all away for a woman, and they're dying to know who she is. The provocations continue, and the tension is reaching a breaking point. Everyone is waiting for the Sword King to retaliate, but he's been remarkably quiet. She wakes up, feeling a strange, intoxicating energy that makes sleep feel like a waste of time. He tells her to drop the formalities. The Sword King mask doesn't need to be worn in private anymore. White-knuckled and trembling, they clench their fists in a display of raw, suffocating tension. Something massive is about to snap. She reminds him of his title, the #1 player, the legend, but it sounds hollow now. He remains the Sword King, but that truth is being tested by the fire of current events. The tension is absolutely electric as their lips draw dangerously close. Everything is about to change in this heart-stopping moment. A whisper of affection breaks the silence of the room. The air crackles with electric passion as they finally surrender to the heat of the moment. Everything else fades away in this intense, intimate embrace. In this moment, nothing else exists but the two of them. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more.